Jimmy, I'm a black woman and a lesbian. How the hell you think I'm doing? Interracial couples, you scared the out of white people. He's like, what are y'all doing? It's just cereal. Just sell the damn cereal. Why you bringing us into this? They got gay couples selling like, just freaking sell your stuff. Don't bring us into this.
Comedy just did what politics often can't. Wanda Sykes and Jimmy Kimmel teamed up for a takedown of Donald and Melania Trump that was as brutal as it was long overdue. Trump, the human spray tan experiment gone wrong, and Melania, who always looks like she's plotting her escape, were put under the spotlight in a way that left no room for mercy. From shady business dealings to Melania's help, me blinks. Nothing was off limits. And let's be real, Trump getting roasted by comedians is probably the closest he'll ever get to actual fire, considering he dodged the draft. This wasn't just comedy, this was a full-on reckoning, and it was juicier than one of Trump's fast food feasts. So buckle up, because when late night hosts go in, they go in, and this time they weren't pulling any punches.
Yes. Do I blame Donald Trump? Of course I do. He's made everybody mad. Everybody just angry. Yeah, just everyone's just angry. And yeah, I'm out there. People know. Trump annoys me. His whole family annoys me. Yeah, the whole kit caboodle. They annoy me.
Wanda Sykes didn't just joke about Donald and Melania Trump, she completely roasted them. Trump, who's basically a walking Twitter argument, got torn apart like one of his failed businesses. And Melania? Wanda pointed out how she always looks like she's planning her escape. Nothing was off limits. From shady deals to awkward public moments, she called it all out. And honestly, Trump getting roasted by comedians might be the closest he ever gets to facing real consequences. It was funny, brutal, and let's be real, it was a long time coming.
You know, it's like everyone's waiting for this moment for him to become presidential. Right. You know, they're like, oh, he has to learn how to control his emotions. He has to learn to be measured. But the man is 70 years old. Those are things that you teach kids. You know, I'm teaching my 7-year-olds those things.
Right.
You know, Trump is 70. He's not going to learn that now.
Yeah.
You know, if he's a dick, he's just going to be a dick.
All right.
That's it.
Okay,
So subscribe if you're enjoying this. Trump walks around like he's the second coming of Einstein, but let's be real, half the time he sounds like a glitchy robot programmed by a drunk conspiracy theorist. He talks in circles, repeats the same lines, and somehow makes less sense the longer he speaks. If arrogance and ignorance had a baby, it would be wearing a red tie down to its knees, rambling about things that never actually happened. But hey, in Trump's world, facts are just suggestions, and reality is whatever he tweeted 5 minutes ago.
I'm guessing you're not a Trump fan then. You would say you're a Trump fan.
I am so not a Trump fan. He annoys me. His whole family annoys me, matter of fact.
Yeah. What about the family annoys you?
Okay, look, a friend of mine was at the movies, and he goes, guess who was here? Tiffany Trump was here with Secret Service.
Tiffany Trump.
Tiffany Trump was there with Secret Service. That annoys me that Tiffany Trump has a Secret Service detail. What the hell is she doing with Secret Service? Don't nobody know who she is. You could be Tiffany Trump as far as I know. You don't know who she is.
Wanda didn't hold back. She pointed out how Trump loves to call himself a billionaire, yet he treats bankruptcies like they're frequent flyer miles. He inherited a fortune, burned through it like a kid with a gift card at a candy store, and still managed to convince people he's some kind of business genius. Let's be real, his credit score probably screams every time he tries to swipe a card. He brags about being the king of deals, but his greatest negotiation skill? Convincing hardworking people that a guy with a gold-plated toilet somehow understands their struggles. Now that's a magic.
My kids are being affected by what's happening in the country. I remember the night that Trump was elected. The next morning, my kids were so depressed. Not depressed, but they were just sad. They were just really sad. And then, like, the next day, I'm talking to my daughter, and she's like really, concerned. I'm like, Olivia, what's going on? She's like, well, one of my friends at school said that now that Trump won, that people with like skin like yours they're gonna have to leave the country. That you're gonna.
Let's talk about his hair. That thing has been breaking the laws of gravity and common sense for years. It looks like a cotton candy machine exploded on his head. And when the wind blows, you can see it fighting for freedom, like it's trying to escape to Canada. And the spray tan, wow, he walks around looking like an angry expired Cheeto. Every time he stands next to a normal person, it's even worse. Like he fell into a bucket of orange paint and just decided to roll with it. Someone really needs to tell him that blending is a thing.
So I'm wondering, like, is he somewhere like having like plastic surgery? You know, like getting his face redone, like trying to change his identity. And then come back and start some more stuff. I'm just worried.
What kind of face are you worried he might get?
It's Trump, man. You don't know. He'll probably do something like like a mix of like Tom Brady and Ted Nugent. You don't know.
I think you just described Ivanka, actually.
But again, he's gonna screw that up too, because he's not gonna like work the rest of his body. He doesn't have that kind of discipline. So it'll just be a new face, same hair, and same big ass. You know that.
Let's talk about Melania Trump, the first lady who seemed like she didn't really want the job. She walked through the White House like she was just visiting, her body language saying, "I'd rather be anywhere else." It was like she was trying to send a secret message to get out of there. Wanda Sykes pointed out that Melania's First Lady campaign was "Be Best." The slogan sounded so boring, it felt like it came from a broken robot. Be best at what? Ignoring her husband's tweets? Or maybe just looking confused in public? Honestly, the only thing Melania seemed to want was to find a way out. And let's talk about her fashion. Remember that jacket? The one that said, "I really don't care, do you?" That was her way of sending a message. Melania walked around like a fancy mannequin that didn't quite know how to act like a real person. And her accent. It's like she's been learning English for years, but decided she didn't need vowels.
Ass joint. I was getting caught up on Homeland the other night. There was a scene when they were in, I don't know where the fuck they were. They were in Iran, and it was showing the guy talking to people, and I was looking, I was like, that backdrop looks like Donald Trump's bathroom at Mar-a-Lago. Look at this tacky ass shit. It was awful.
Wanda didn't just roast Trump, she obliterated his ego. After that, Melania's side eye probably got stuck at a permanent 90-degree angle. It was a full-on comedy massacre. Brutal, hilarious, and absolutely earned. You could almost hear Trump getting ready to tweet in all caps about how he was unfairly treated, screaming sad. Wanda went in hard, roasting him like that Thanksgiving turkey you forgot about for 3 days. Dry, tough, and completely unrecognizable. She didn't leave anything off the table, especially his hair. She called it a sentient tumbleweed that escaped from an 80s car commercial, rolling aimlessly through the years, never finding its purpose. And she didn't stop there. She even joked that scientists should study it. Seriously, who knows if it's real, fake, or just a long-lost relative of the wildest haircut at the Westminster Dog Show? If there was ever a moment that truly proved Wanda's comedic genius, this was it. She shredded Trump in a way that had everyone laughing, but it was the kind of laugh that made you realize, yeah, maybe he is the joke.
And I know they say he's passing gas and everything. So I like that I'm watching it from home.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to be in that room. But the thing is, he's old, so that's what happens when you're old. You fall asleep and you toot a little bit.
And let's not forget the infamous spray tan. Wanda had a blast with that one. She joked that if you got too close, you might suffer second-degree spray tan burns, and if you stared at it too long, you'd start seeing different shades of traffic cone orange. She compared it to a bad DIY paint job where the person ran out of patience halfway through and just hoped no one would notice. Then came the priceless expressions. Wanda pointed out that Trump often looks like a toddler who just realized they can't read but is way too proud to admit it. The squinting, the over-exaggerated mouth movements, the furrowed brow. It's like watching someone trying to read a teleprompter written in hieroglyphics while pretending they totally get it. She even joked that his face seems to cycle through the same 3 emotions: confusion, misplaced confidence, and did I just say that out loud? Regret. Oh, and the hand gestures. Those needed a roast of their own. Wanda compared them to someone trying to explain Wi-Fi to their grandma. Random, exaggerated, and completely out of place. It's like his hands are having a conversation conversation of their own, while his mouth is left out of the loop. Wanda didn't just roast him, she slow cooked him, deep fried him, and served him up on a silver platter. It was comedy at its finest.
I blame those damn Cheerio commercials and showing all those interracial couples. You scared the out of white people. It's like, what are y'all doing? It's just cereal. Just sell the damn cereal. Why you bringing us into this? They got gay couples selling like, just freaking sell your stuff. Don't bring us into this.
Cheerios. I knew they were responsible for some.
And Melania? Oh, she didn't escape the roast either. Wanda absolutely cooked her. She dragged the former First Lady's signature expression, which always seemed to sit somewhere between forced politeness and deep existential regret. Wanda compared it to a woman who ordered a fancy filet mignon, but ended up with a gas station hot dog. Melania's smile? According to Wanda, it's rarer than a UFO sighting. And when she does try to smile, it looks more like a hostage signaling for help than anything else. Then there's that hand slap. Wanda had a field day with it. She demonstrated Melania's reflexes, saying even NFL defensive backs would be jealous of her reaction speed. Wanda painted the perfect picture of Melania treating Trump's hand like it was covered in something toxic, like expired caviar or one of his many failed business ventures. The crowd absolutely lost it.
Because this funeral had Donald Trump, and that guy can turn anything into a joke. Maybe you've heard of Diamond and Silk, you know, those two sisters who were always, showing up at his rallies, praising him on TV, setting the black race back 50 years. You know those two. Trump held meetings with them. He'd invite them to the Oval Office. He would point at them and say, "See, black people love me."
Tonight is a special night at the White House. It's Donald and Melania's 20th wedding anniversary. 20 years is a long time, especially for Melania. This morning, Trump paid tribute to his longest-serving wife by reposting this AI image of himself.
Then it was Jimmy Kimmel's turn, and he didn't hold back. He went straight for Trump's inability to string a sentence together, breaking down his speeches like a game of Mad Libs gone wrong. One moment, Trump's talking about one thing, and the next thing you know, he's ranting about windmills, sharks, or who could forget, his undying love for fast food. Jimmy didn't just call it out, he acted it out, mimicking Trump's bizarre speech patterns, complete with those erratic, tiny hand gestures. You know the ones, the awkward, frantic chops that make him look like he's trying to karate chop the air.
Guessing he noticed a bunch of people posting about his anniversary, which remind him, oh, it's my anniversary, so he then reposted this sweet photo of Melania literally pushing him away from her.
And then, of course, there's the hair. Jimmy went in hard, joking that Trump's hair has more security clearance than half of his staff. Is it a wig? Is it alive? Does it even have its own social security number? No one knows for sure, but one thing's clear. Whatever's happening up there, it defies the laws of science. That swirling artificial mess of confusion looks like it's only one strong gust of wind away from taking flight and seeking asylum in Canada. Some people say it's a comb-over, but let's be real, it's more like a crime scene in progress.
Well, our president kept the crowd very warm at CPAC over the weekend. CPAC, if you're not familiar, is basically what would happen if Judge Jeanine Pirro headlined the Fire Festival. It's a lot of very angry white people. It is the largest gathering of people who believe vaccines are witchcraft in the world. And for 2 hours and 2 minutes, Donald Trump gave what I believe we may look back on as his I Have a Dream speech. This was his longest speech since taking office. He went on and on. You could have left this speech, watched 2 episodes of Game of Thrones, come back, and he would still have been going. And to kick things off, Trump went to one of his signature moves to start it. And I know there's a lot of competition, but this, I think, this might be the dumbest thing he does. Who does that? Donald Trump shows more affect to flags than Eric and Don Jr. have ever gotten in their whole lives.
And we can't forget about the skin. Trump's signature shade? Think expired Cheeto mixed with a traffic cone that's been left in the sun for too long. It's like his makeup artist ran out of foundation and just grabbed the nearest highlighter from Home Depot's Hazard Zone collection. Honestly, it's a miracle he hasn't been mistaken for a construction barrier on the highway. And the way he pouts every time he speaks, it looks like his mouth is trying to make a run for it, just trying to escape from his face. Now onto Melania. Oh boy, that woman looks like she's 2 seconds away from sending out an SOS in Morse code with her blinking. Ever seen a hostage blink a distress signal? That's Melania at every public event. She's got the energy of a DMV employee on their 5th overtime shift. And her Be Best campaign? Honey, we're still trying to figure out what exactly we were supposed to be best at. Ignoring her husband's scandals, avoiding hand-holding, copying Michelle Obama's speeches with a straight face.
Reports from multiple news outlets, his former sister-in-law alleges that Hegseth's wife was terrified he would abuse her to the point where she and her sister had a code to text each other if her husband became violent, and she feared for her safety.
And that accent. No shade to accents, but Melania sounds like the audio version of autocorrect malfunctioning. She speaks 5 languages, but somehow she still sounds like a broken GPS, no matter which one she picks. As for her facial expressions, she always looks like she's trying to solve a math problem in her head, while regretting every life decision that led her to this moment. Meanwhile, Trump keeps showing her off like some prize he won at a sketchy casino. He loves to brag about her like she's a rare baseball card, conveniently ignoring the fact that she avoids touching him like he's covered in radioactive waste. Seriously, have you ever seen a married couple with less chemistry? Even the wax statues at Madame Tussauds look more in love than these two.
Gonna make stuff up about him, I'd start telling people he wears diapers. I would explain that it's a long trial. He drinks a lot of Diet Cokes to stay awake. He's getting up there in years, and it's perfectly normal for a man of Trump's age and carriage to wear absorbent undergarments to stop the leaks. So, I mean, if I was making stuff up, that I would point out that the reason he stands like this and golfs like this and plays tennis like this is because he has a full diaper strapped around his little mushroom garden. Okay?
Melania didn't get off easy either. In fact, she became the comedic equivalent of a piñata, but instead of candy, all that came out were a series of blank stares and vaguely European-sounding sighs. Jimmy wasted no time poking fun at her robotic vibe, joking that she's been stuck in low power mode for years. Some say she runs on batteries, but even those seem to have a longer shelf life by now. Honestly, it's tough to tell if she's glitching, buffering, or just regretting every decision that led her to that golden tower in New York. Of course, the jokes didn't stop there. Jimmy compared her infamous Christmas decorations to something straight out of a horror movie, arguing that no one should feel like they need a crucifix just to get through the White House hallways in December. Maybe she was going for festive, or maybe she was summoning ghosts. Who knows? Either way, her holiday spirit was about as warm as a freezer aisle in Siberia. And let's not forget that time she stood next to a Christmas tree display, looking like she was auditioning for the role of the villain in a holiday slasher film. You could almost hear the faint whispers of "help me" behind those icy blue eyes. Then came the burning question: did she even know she was First Lady? Jimmy joked that she probably found out the same way we did, via a breaking news alert. It's entirely possible she spent her first year in the White House thinking she'd accidentally walked into the wrong building and was just too polite to leave. Every public event seemed like a hostage situation, except instead of a ransom, she paid in awkward smiles and passive-aggressive hand swats.
Usually when Donald Trump gets a spanking like this from a woman, it's with a Forbes magazine. Kamala was pushing his buttons like a 12-year-old playing Fortnite. This was a much better debate than the last debate. This is like the Lion King when Simba came back to avenge Mufasa. Trump's advisors, before the debate, they urged him to be happy Trump instead of mean bully Trump, and to please focus on the issues. Of course, he didn't listen to any of that at all. But who are we kidding? This election isn't about the issues. I mean, Dick Cheney isn't voting for Kamala Harris because he agrees with her on the issues. He's voting for her because there's a rhinoceros charging and she has the tranquilizer gun.